Hello, everyone. I hope you saw the notification. We're moving to our final presentation this morning, and I'm very pleased you can see alongside me Khalil Rener from Rener Wellbeing, who's going to take us through some of the wellbeing services. So Rener does have a presentation, and so when he puts that on, you will see Rener and the presentation. If you'd like to see the presentation full screen, that's down to you. You click on the top right hand of that screen and it will move it to full screen. So I'm going to opt out while Rener does that and come back just to wrap up and move us to the next and final networking session. So welcome, Rener, and over to you.
Cool, thanks.
So, hi, Rener. A little bit around into the work that we've been doing with the organization, a little bit about me. So I come from a performance sport background, so I used to play a lot of rugby and country throughout school, and ended up coaching with a professional rugby team in the community team after doing sports science at Leicester, and ended my sport management. Which is really my research focusing on integrating physical activity in particular into the workplace. And over time, kind of work over 10 years now, supporting and coaching in different contexts.
In the financial world, etc., in the corporate world, but now running this. So we've been going for about 2 years. So if you see here, and we support, mainly our aim is to support organizations to sustainably integrate well-being into their lives, to help their staff to be happier and healthier, which at the moment is extremely important. And then we found, of course, that when you have happier and healthier staff, that they're going to improve things like their engagement, their performance, reduce things like absence rates and turnover, which I'll go into a little bit later. But we focus on 4 main areas of well-being. So we look at mental health, things like stress, anxiety, resilience, non-clinical issues really, as well as then physical activity, sleep, and nutrition. And I'm sure a lot of you are kind of going, oh, sleep, that sounds nice. I forgot what that looks like or feels like. And yeah, so we work with all sorts of organizations across the world, corporates, we work with business improvement districts, and we've partnered up with active partnerships nationally to run their workplace physical activity training session across England. And we've even worked with Priory Group, and they are the UK's biggest private mental health care organisation. And we ran a workshop with their biggest hospital called Neesworth House. And the reason why I bring up Priory Group in particular is because I think a lot of us, in theory, know a lot around the fact that, yes, if I eat healthily and yes, if I'm physically active, I know I'm going to be happy and healthy. But even mental health professionals whose job it is to support others with their mental health still end up needing support for their own mental health. And so that's kind of why I point that out. And yeah, so without kind of skirting around the elephant in the room, COVID, it's been a potentially difficult year for a lot of people, either financially, mentally, because of isolation, people are having to reskill, unpredictability. For others, it's become extremely busy because of it. And that comes with those other added stresses. And so it's important to realize that a lot of people are finding it not necessarily all that easy. So I have a few questions actually for you, just before I go into kind of how we support organizations. But I don't know if you can see my screen here, if you've got it on full screen or not. But the question is, how much do you think mental health issues cost UK organizations per year? And I don't know if you guys want to try and type in on the chat, in the general chat, what you think, A, B, or C. If not, just try and think in your head, is it 20 billion pounds, is it 30 billion pounds, or is it over 40 billion pounds a year that mental health issues are costing UK organizations? A, C, C. C, yeah, guessing C, a lot of you guessing C, absolutely. So Deloitte found that before COVID, they came out with their updated mental health in the workplace report. which was initially made in 2017 to help inform the paper that went to government. And it's over £40 billion. It's about £45 billion per year. And that's made up of absence rates costs, which are about, I think it's £8 billion a year. Turnover as well, around £12 billion a year. So people ending up leaving organizations because they're stressed, anxious, not able to deal with their mental health issues. But mostly around £27 billion is from presenteeism, which is where people come into the workplace and they're not actually ready to work. I'm sure all of us have had those mornings where you come in, you read the same email 3 times, you're a bit groggy, you might, depending on what your role is, if you're working with a client, you might not be so sharp. And that is costing a lot of, essentially it's £1,500, just over £1,500 per employee per year. And if you're in finance, insurance industry, legal industry, that's closer to £3,500 per year per employee just on mental health. And then if you take into account physical activity, sleep, and nutrition as separate issues as well, that number increases more and more. Rand Europe found in 2016 that sleep is costing the UK £30 billion, so not far off that. And I'm sure that number's kind of boosted. But it's an overall issue across the UK. But even if we look individually, some of us have been finding it a lot easier to be well over the last 3-4 months. More time, you're not having to commute anymore, you're able to sleep in a little bit, but others have found it quite hard. So you don't have to share your answer there, but it's worth just thinking, how have I felt? How's my well-being been over the last 3 months? And how has your team's well-being changed over the last few months? So maybe you have found it tough, or you've found it okay. You've been in a fortunate position where business is going well and it's business as usual. But maybe your younger staff have been finding it hard. A lot of the research now at the moment that's coming out is that it is the younger staff members that are really struggling, or those with kids. Having to, especially during the main parts of lockdown, having to be a school teacher, parent, and trying to sort your own stuff out all at the same time. And maybe some of you don't really know and haven't really been aware of that, and that's also okay, but worth kind of highlighting. And if you are aware of how your staff are doing, whether they're doing well or they're struggling or that there's no change, are you aware of how to consciously support their well-being and why that's important? And again, you don't have to answer that. And maybe even some of you are going, oh, well-being, like what is this waste of time? Why are we speaking about mental health and well-being in the workplace? I'm here to network. But and that's, again, totally fine. But if you have a look at the slides here, and if you open that up in full screen, you can see that, yes, all the usual benefits of improving your health are there, such as improved energy, more energy, better stress management, reduced risk of heart disease, chronic illnesses, diabetes, cancer, etc., improved mood, improved self-confidence. But also there are a lot of work benefits. So this is just around physical activity and nutrition. You can get up to a return on investment of £34 for every £1 invested in your physical activity and nutrition of your employees. If people are physically active, they have 27% fewer sick days. And if you think about it at the moment, I know we were speaking to some of you at the start of this where you're really swamped with work at the moment. And so if you have a few extra sick days, that can impact your business. It definitely costs you a lot. Absenteeism as well is reduced by 20%. And a lot of us are struggling, as I mentioned, especially if you have relatively large teams or medium-sized teams, struggling with team unity and isolation at the moment with working from home, etc. And by improving your well-being and your team's well-being, all of those issues can go. And this is our internal well-being case study that we developed for a London-based tech startup. They have 20 people in their startup, and it's been published now by UK Active a few weeks ago. In UK Active, their role is often to do a lot of research that helps inform government policy. Greater Sport, who are Greater Manchester's active partnership, as well as published this, and it was featured in Mad World Summit, which is the one of Europe's biggest mental health and workplace wellbeing conferences. And the reason why it's become a best practice case study is because firstly, there was top-down buy-in. So the leaders within the organization, the CEO, the co-founder, really bought into wanting their staff to be happier and healthier and understood the benefits that could come from that, which helped enable their staff. So we developed a bespoke strategy, well-being strategy, by analyzing what was already working, what wasn't working so well, and what their employees' needs were around well-being. And we put in a bespoke action plan that we've been implementing now for over 2 years, and that led to happier and healthier staff. We've had improved productivity, reduced absence rates, reduced turnover rates, and their in-year sales just after 3 months doubled, as well as a lot of other qualitative improvements. And their CEO attributed it directly to the improvements of well-being in their staff, which led to a return on investment of 250 to 1, which is pretty bonkers. And again, I'm not promising that, all of you, if you start integrating well-being into your company culture and into your own lives, you're going to get such a big return on investment. But Deloitte found that there's constantly a positive return, and on average it's 5 to 1 if you just support your staff's mental health, which is massive. If you think about that from a management consulting point of view, and if I was Deloitte and said, hey, here's this new management policy, it'll get you a return on investment of 5 to 1, it wouldn't be as big of a no-brainer as maybe going, well-being, how do I support my staff? And so I know I'm running over my 10 minutes. But in short, now Merton Chamber have brought me in to see if you would like to have certain wellbeing services, especially kind of around workshops. And we've been doing a lot of remote workshops now with business improvement districts and their members, as well as organizations that I mentioned over time. But the way we can support you is through bespoke workshops. So we have a few of these here, and if you go to our website you can see more, such as developing your own personal well-being action plan, supporting you as a manager on how you can support yourself and also your team, how you can develop your own company well-being strategy. But we can also come in and help you to develop that ourselves, as well as run one-to-one support sessions, and run even live workouts and guided mindfulness sessions, if that's something that you'd be interested in. So if that is the case, well, firstly, have a look. Feel free to go see our website, so it's there. But I've just got a quick feedback form for you to fill in, if that's okay, just to see on behalf of Merton Chamber. I'll pop it in the chat there. If any of you would like to have a workshop, then we can put that on for you, either just kind of a high-level workshop, or there's a few options there that you can click where we can run that for you. But yeah, thank you very much, and I'll be around if you want to get my email or have a one-to-one. I'll pop myself in a room after this so you can come chat. Yeah, thanks, Diana.
Thank you, Khalil. Very insightful. And I'd suggest that if Khalil sits on one of the tables at the side, then anyone that's interested in finding out more could just pop there and see. So we've got about 10 minutes, just over 10 minutes left for the final networking session. So 4 of us in this meeting today, so not quite as many numbers as had registered, but I think it gives you the opportunity to move around and have a chat to actually everyone that's attending, which I think is rather nice. And we will ask you for your feedback as well after the session, so please think about things that you would like to see, or any way that it could be improved, or indeed what you think has worked well. So I'm going to move off now, and then we'll move back to the sessions, and I hope we're all getting to grips with how to move around and talk to everyone. So see you soon.
Okay, thank you, everyone.